Hey guys, I've got for you my latest comic book haul, including an issue of Uncanny X-Men that is a huge update to my X-Men run, as well as some more Silver Age Daredevil issues. Let's get into it. What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is John, and you're watching Old Stuff is Cool, and we've got a comic haul video for you today. So I have 3 different packages to share with you. 2 from the Facebook claim group that I've mentioned in past videos, and 1 eBay purchase. So let's just dive right into it. The first one comes from a seller, we'll just say Larry, from the Facebook claim group. I've purchased from him before. Great books at great prices. First issue up, a fun one. We've got Devil Dinosaur issue 6. This is a series that I picked up issues 1 and 2. Late last year from a Facebook Marketplace purchase of all places, and I'm really digging this series. It's not a very long series, so at only $3 for this issue, and I was trying to pad out this order as well. I don't mind collecting this series. Jack the King Kirby doing art and story, and of course this is, I think it's Moon Boy on the front. This actually, those might be Moon Boy's parents, and Devil Dinosaurs in the background there. Anyway, more Devil Dino in the collection. Never a bad thing. We also have a mid-grade copy of The Amazing Spider-Man issue 147. This is definitely, it's not like Silver Age old, but I don't have a lot of 25 centers in my ASM collection. We've got the tarantula on the cover, and this is drawn by John Romita Sr., and the story is by Jerry Conway. So again, a mid-grade copy for a couple bucks. This comic and the Devil Dinosaur one really was to pad the main purchase, which I'm super excited to add, and that is Uncanny X-Men issue 140. Now, a couple of things to note. We got Wendigo on the cover here, John Byrne doing the art and cover, Chris Claremont on the story. He was a huge tenure on Uncanny X-Men. This issue also happens to take place between 2 major Uncanny X-Men storylines, the Dark Phoenix Saga and Days of Future Past. So it's kind of right, like a 2-issue span between those milestone stories. And the big thing that this issue does for my Uncanny X-Men collection is I now have a continuous run from issue 124 to issue 350 of this series. So Amazing Spider-Man and Uncanny X-Men are probably my longest continuous runs. Captain America actually is kind of getting up there as well. But I have a few earlier issues of Uncanny X-Men kind of scattered back, the earliest issue being number 111. And this year I'm hoping to fill in some of the gaps, some of those milestone issues in that early Chris Claremont run of X-Men. And this issue of Uncanny was priced at about $14. Altogether, all 3 books with shipping was $30. So very happy to have those into the collection. Now my second package for today also comes from the same Facebook comic claim group, buy, sell, trade. And this is a duplicate. Sometimes I'll run into books and while they're on hold with certain sellers, I'll just come across it in the wild for a decent price. So this is a duplicate, but it does play an important part for later in the video. You'll see what I mean. All will be revealed. Captain America 341. A great cover with the Captain, after he's decided to not be Captain America, gives that role to John. Well, rather, that role is given to John Walker. I don't think Cap gives it to him. And we got Iron Man in the Silver Centurion armor. This one is an homage cover to Daredevil issue 43, which has Daredevil and Captain America fighting. It is written by Mark Grunwald, and the cover itself is by Ron Frenz. So I've always loved this cover. Having a duplicate, I don't think it'll be too hard to find us a new home when the time comes. Going forth, I actually have completed a little part of Daredevil. I was missing 2 issues of the Born Again storyline, and we have issue 228 here. A very, very close up on Matt Murdock's face. This cover is by David Mazzucchelli, and the story, of course, is by Frank Miller. And then the second and last issue I needed for my Born Again story arc run is Daredevil 229. Great snowy cover here. Same creative team as before. David Mazzucchelli on the art, Frank Miller on the story. This also is the first appearance of Sister Maggie Murdoch, Matt's mother, who has not been in his life up to this point in the storyline. It's not a very big story arc. Frank Miller had finished his first run, took a break, came back to write this one. I think it holds up better than maybe, like Man Without Fear, the limited series, and some later Frank Miller Daredevil work. Definitely worth checking out if you've never read it. And I still, this is a reminder that I still need to watch season 1 of Daredevil Born Again on Disney+. From the same haul, we also have Daredevil issue 252, just a filler issue that I needed for my run. This cover is by John Romita Jr., and this is Ann Nocenti's run on Daredevil. And it is a run that I'm very casually putting together. And now the last book from this package is a big one. This is the last issue I need of Kraven's Last Hunt, and it is probably one of the best covers from that storyline. It's Web of Spider-Man, issue 32. Peter, in the black costume, digging himself after being buried alive by Kraven the Hunter. And this cover and interior art is by one of my favorite artists, Mike Zeck, story by J.M. DeMatteis, and it's 2 storylines from this package that I was able to complete. Daredevil Born Again and Kraven's Last Hunt. Another story I read just right at the end of 2025. They're both a bit darker as far as what these characters might normally be put through, but very good. I mean, I don't think it's like edgelord dark, but it's definitely putting both, Spider-Man in this story and Daredevil and Born Again, putting those 2 characters through the ringer and coming out on top stronger and better for it. And for this second package of 5 books, it came out to a very similar price as the first one. It was $36, including shipping. And overall, I'd say I find some very decent prices on this Facebook claim group. More importantly, I'm finding books that I'm hunting for, which, funny enough, I think I'm becoming a little bit pickier. I mean, I'm mentioning books that and runs I'm trying to finish, and less so am I just trying out new stuff, or at least maybe in a more controlled way, like the Double Dinosaur from before. That was something a little bit different, but it's not a brand new run I'm starting. I think I'm trying to avoid that, at least without a little bit of research. And so that brings us to the third and last package I have for you for today's video, and that is a nice lot of Silver Age Daredevil. And this is something that I started collecting, started getting some Silver Age Spider-Man as well, and in general looking to maybe add some Silver Age titles to some of my favorite characters like Fantastic Four and X-Men, and you'll be seeing that here as I come across those. But this lot had a nice mix, some low-grade books, which I'm definitely looking to upgrade, but the main books I wanted were, very luckily so, and they had some nice pictures in this eBay listing, but the main books I wanted were in great shape. So let's start off with the lower grade books, and I'll probably intercut some close-up footage of this. We've got Daredevil issue 42, and this is the first appearance of the Jester. It's too bad that the first appearance, though, is in pretty rough shape. Looking at the cover here, there is a date stamp, which I actually don't mind the date stamp as long as the positioning of that is not in a funky place or like covering someone's face. It's got plenty of spine wear, and actually in the bottom left hand, there is an area where tape was applied and removed and kind of left a stain. There's all sorts of chips and folds on the cover too, but it is a complete book. It's been well loved, and I think a good amount of these books from the set I'm showing you were definitely loved by the original owners. The other one that's in particularly rough shape is issue 49 here. We've got coffee stains and like coffee rings and water damage on this one, in addition to, well, actually, the spine wear isn't as bad as the other one. It's more the staining, and for sure, someone placed their, I don't know, I'm thinking it's a mug of coffee. It could also be a glass of Coke, something dark either way. This issue, again, it's complete. All these things were complete, and the pictures were decent enough in the listing. But yeah, this is probably one I'd look to either move on or upgrade or something else. Now, moving on to the main lot of books, we're just going to go in sequential order here. So we have Daredevil issue 44. And of course, these Silver Age issues are all 12 centers, and primarily they're written by Stan Lee, and art is the classic Gene Colan. So issue 44 got Jester in the back there too. Then we have issue 45. I remember seeing some of these covers where it has like photography, in the background with the illustration superposed on top. That must have been fun. It's not my preference for the look of the covers, but kind of cool that they're experimenting with stuff like that at this time. We got the Jester once again. This one, I think, while it looks great on camera, there is a non-color breaking, crease on the bottom right corner. But overall, it looks really well. It looks really good. Then issue 46. Man, the Jester had a nice little run here as the main antagonist for these issues. I really like this cover with him on camera trying to just humiliate Daredevil. And then moving on, we have issue 47. Nice little cover there. And diving into this era of Daredevil, again, Gene Colan, his work wasn't really on my radar much before, but I think that's kind of a cool part of this opening new doors on my comic journey, is coming across new creative talent, whether it be writers or artists. This is a bit of a notable cover. Issue 48 with Stiltman here, but the notable part is if you look down here in the neon, little cheeky message here, it's the famous Ass Pain cover. I don't know if that's directed at anyone in particular, or maybe it's a comment on Stiltman, the villain, but that's what this issue is known for. And I just like the cover. I mean, it makes Stiltman look cool in the perspective and everything. And the colors, actually, in particular. Really dig this cover, in addition to that fun little Easter egg there. Then we have issue 50 here. Nice clean cover. Daredevil's a little worse for wear. I know this character, Saxon, would eventually become, I forget what he's called here. I'll be sure to put it in the post-production, but I know he becomes Mr. Fear, like the second Mr. Fear. And eventually he's Machine Smith, a villain in the Captain America books. So kind of Star Saxon, I think is his name. Kind of interesting little history here, how different characters can, different permutations, or another writer later on chooses to use them for a totally different purpose. Not quite the same as like taking Frank Miller taking Kingpin from the Spidey villains and throwing him and kind of building on the character. Sometimes characters get whole new identities and costumes and stuff, and that's kind of always cool to track. We have two more books here. Daredevil issue 51. This one's a little bit worse for wear. I mean, with some color rub, but in general, nothing too great. There's sometimes a pen mark here and there on the interior. I know some of I think one of the issues had like the eyes were colored in or something weird like that. And the interiors weren't shown on the eBay listing, so I know there's always an element of chance. But all that risk was worth it, because the big book that drew my eye to this lot was Daredevil 43, and this is that issue we mentioned earlier with that Captain America book. I now have the original in my collection, and kind of padded out some of the other Silver Age books. But man, I mean, this one in particular is by Jack Kirby. So I guess the second mention of Jack Kirby in this video. While all the other covers were by Gene Colan, this one, I mean, the perspective might be a little wonky, I guess, looking at the position of the footing for Cap and Daredevil. But there's something dynamic about it. The colors really pop between both characters. And this is the first battle between Daredevil and Captain America. So a classic overall. It's why I went for it. I forgot to mention, these were actually two different Daredevil lots. They had listed a whole bunch from issues, I forgot what the lowest one was, in the teens, up to just shy of 100. And they were split up into, like 5-6 different lots. I won 2 of the different lots, and the seller was able to combine shipping, actually package it all very well. I know that's also a little bit of a toss-up for eBay. But altogether, I got these for $88 shipped. And I don't know, in hindsight and like knowing better in condition, that might be a little, it might be a little high, but I think overall, with issues that I actually really wanted in this lot, I'm at peace with what I paid for it. But for those of you who might have been collecting Silver Age longer, let me know. Let me know how I did there. $88 shipped, good, bad, terrible, awesome, whatever it might be. Let me know in the comments below. So that's going to do it for today's haul video. Let me know if you had a favorite book amongst the ones I picked up. I mean, we've got some old books, we've got newer books, got a couple different characters, and a lot of Daredevil, as it were. So if you're a favorite Daredevil fan, I'd love to hear from you. But I want to thank you guys so much for tuning into this video, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Take care.